Right, I'm going to abandon ship and finally, I'm back out, to coin an Andy Wardle phrase. Yeah, it's just nice to be out for a wild camp. First time in ages, so it feels like it. Straightforward. Going to use most of the usual gear. It's a school night, so I have to be back early in the morning. So, looking forward to it. So I'm in one of my usual haunts, just an hour from my house in Glasgow, near Loch Lomond. So I'm hoping for a nice view tonight. Weather is amazing, summer has returned. 23.5, 24 degrees at the moment. So it should be lovely. Just a quick 40-minute walk, get on a wee perch, get the tent up, enjoy the evening. So thank you for joining me. It's going to be a busy hill this for a wee while yet. It's a popular spot, as you'll see in a minute. You'll have seen it in previous videos. But yeah, just had to get out. So appreciate you coming along. Do you know, I've done over 300 videos now, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know where the time has gone. I've racked up about 2.25 million views, which is pretty damn good, I thought, for an old guy climbing the hills. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty dry. Not a lot in the way of water to pick up en route, so I'm carrying it. Well, there's a good breeze. I hope that keeps up and keeps the midges away, because they were actually really bad in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's that second wave they keep talking about, or whether that's just a normal midgie season. Nice view though. Ah, damn it, somebody has got my spot. I'm going to have to look for alternatives. Yeah, that is annoying. I thought I would come up early-ish after work in the hope I could get a spot. I think it's the first time it's happened in about 10 years. So we'll just have to look for an alternative. I need to keep an eye out for ticks actually as I go through here. I've got no permethrin treated clothing or anything, so unlike Murray at Scotland's Mountains, amongst others. Hello Murray if you're watching this. So I'll do a wee tick check once I get the tent up. I've been brushing through quite a bit of stuff here. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is not a bad spot actually. Very similar to my normal one, but just a bit lower. But the view is not much worse. But what I'll do is I'll climb up again beyond my pals here and see if we can find anything more slightly higher up. As always, it's seriously breezy up here, which is good. Kind of glad I brought the Nortent. I think the mid shelter, the Asta gear, would be kind of a wee bit of a pummeling in this breeze if it stays up. So, good to have this. Always tie your tent off to your pack as a kind of wee safety aid just in case. I think these conditions probably warranted them. You can see how much it's having to give to the wind here, despite me being tied heavily as I can. This side is perfectly good, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, but as you can see, I think the crossing pole would have been useful tonight. So what I might try and do is jerry rig my own crossing pole arrangement. I've got this walking pole at the end. I'm thinking I might run some guy line to the strands, if I can find any spare, and just to bring the power a wee bit more there, give me a bit more space inside. But at the moment it's holding, but it's deforming quite a lot on this side. As always, Conning Hill, a great test of tents. So what I've noticed is, because of the sheer pressure on here, the hoop, the actual hoop, is, rather than pegging it and guying it straight along the line, it doesn't really help because it's getting deformed that way into the wind. So I've had to move the guys off and away from the wind to try and hold the hoop from distorting too much. Admittedly the door isn't zipped shut at the moment, but I want to keep it open for the view. If ever there was a time you wished you'd brought the crossing pole, I think it would have made a huge difference. in this wind. But I'm not complaining, it keeps the midges away, and probably as the sun goes down, it'll probably die off. I think the wind will drop. Do you know, if I can take you back a few years, I came up here with my mate and I used a Fjallraven Abisko Light 1 in this exact spot. And it suffered from exactly the same problem. In a single hook, it stops quite a lot unless you can somehow bolster the fly sheet. So I'm thinking actually, it's not jury's out, but what I should have done was bring the crossing pole. I think the crossing pole possibly would be required at lower wind speeds than you might think. There's quite a bit of distortion on the hook at this side. It's not actually clapping together as such, but it's definitely losing a bit of volume. You see there in the gusts, it just bows in despite the guy being as tensioned as they probably could get it. Anyway, this is why we test tents, so you don't have to. Right, let's get set up. I'm going to blow the sleeping mat up. I've got the Neo Air NXT, and I've also been given by Flextail a brand new tiny, what they call zero pump. I don't know if you can see that okay. It's basically about the size of a lipstick. That's it there. And this is the adapter for the mat. So yeah, I'm hoping it's as good as some of the previous models. The one up from this with the built-in light, I thought it's been really useful. Some of the other ones haven't worked so well, to be fair. So this is brand new. I don't think this is even out yet. I think it comes out on the 14th of September. But we'll give this a go and just see if this puts the mat up okay. It's great having something so light. They claim 1.2 ounces, and I guess that's without the battery that's inside this raft. Okay, let's see if this wee adapter they gave me fits okay. Right. Yeah. That looks fine. We'll pop that on. I think it's a double press. There you go, if you can hear that over the wind. I'll just leave it to do its thing. Seems to be doing alright. Doesn't seem to have an awful lot of power compared to previous Flextails. Well, that's it up. Right, I started timing that on my watch. That was about 60 seconds to blow up one mat. And you can tell obviously it starts to increase in speed, or it makes more noise as it's totally inflated. But I'm quite impressed, that went up a lot quicker than I expected. I am going to try and test this on blowing up a pack raft, which I'll show you possibly in this video later. Okay, moment of truth. Can this tiny little Flextail pump blow up a pack raft? To be honest, I think it's a tall order, but let's give it a go. Would you believe it? It actually does do it. Right, that's probably about as far as I'd normally go with any pump, and then I stop and just mouth inflate it to finish. So, yep, success. Well done, Flextail. Well done, the zero pump. But yeah, that was actually pretty damn good. Just like the fact it's so small. As you can see, it's fairly gusty outside, so I'm going to have to sleep down this end of the tent, I think, to make sure my head doesn't get kind of touched by the inside of the inner or whatever, because it's just a bit annoying. We'll stop me sleeping. As always, I've got my go-to sleeping bag from Decathlon, zero rated. Actually, I mean, just 945 grams in this size, but in this weather, probably overkill. I should probably explore quilts and try and half the weight on something like this. It probably would be a better combo while it's still warm. So here is my issue with this pump that I've noticed. If I take it apart, you'll see it comes with a 650 milliamp rechargeable battery. There's nothing wrong with that, but how do you charge it? Where do you charge it? There is no USB-C charging point, so in effect you're forced into using a separate charger. That's not so bad, but they don't supply you with one. So I'm now thinking, when this first runs out, how am I charging this? So, you know, you need basically two products, and they're only supplying you with one. So yeah, not so impressed with that Flextail, unless of course this is a prototype and the production model will be different, so watch this space. To show you what's happening here, the gusts have actually increased, and the hook is really deforming quite badly. It's still pegged okay, but it's yeah, it's not inspiring confidence. Look, see the deformation in the main pole. Now it's not a particularly thick pole, and that might well be an issue. And a bigger gap pole would be better. course you've got that. I have a wee wind speed app on the phone. God knows how accurate it is. I don't think it's far off. Anyway, it's peaking at about just 16 metres per second, averaging about 12. So it's gusting to just over about 33, 34 miles an hour, I think. And yeah, it's struggling. It's struggling. I've made a bit of a blunder. I brought the Soto Windmaster, but somewhere along the line, possibly lying in the bedroom, is the detachable pot stand. The trouble is that this is so well sealed, if you put a pot on top of it, it just goes out. So you then have to kind of rig something with a tent peg or something to try and keep the pot above the burner. But anyway, I wasn't really anticipating making much in the way of hot drinks. It's so warm. We'll be fine. Rookie error. I'm just lying here having a wee break, having a gin and tonic, and I'm just thinking how probably it would actually really benefit from a wider diameter DAC pole. So I don't know if Nortent, I believe, are trying to get DAC poles, but I think there's a very, very long backlog, a year and a half, 2 years maybe. But I'm beginning to think it needs it. I'm still at the door of the tent, and that's Aaron in the background, just over, just there. You can see the mountains and the ridge there. Still, okay, I might get a battering. If the tent survives, at least I get a nice view for the night, and it beats watching the TV. Been a wee bit chillier now. I think the sun's just beginning to, well, it's behind the cloud actually. Probably got an hour or two yet. What time is it? It's only after 7. Yeah, so just put on a wee windproof just now, just to give me another layer. Cheers. I've actually come down because I'm thinking about moving the tent. It really is getting an absolute hammering. I may break that pole. I'm thinking that maybe this kind of area down here is definitely a lot easier in here. I'll show you why, because this slope above me is blocking all that easterly wind. Still got a nice view. It just means I've got to pack everything and then pull the tent down and take it down. I'm not sure. But I've got plenty of time and plenty of light. I'm going to abandon ship and bring it further down the valley to a more sheltered spot. It's just not worth it. I think we're going to break a pole easily, and it's going to make for a crazy night. So, and I'd rather get a night's sleep and save the tent from any potential damage. So we're bailing further down. Still got a drink. I'm going to bail further down. Woo! It should be hugely different once I get down below this ridge. We'll put it in there. I don't want to spill my gin and tonic. Okay, so it's still windy here, but it's a different world. So I'm going to get the tent back up and I'll bring you back in a minute. I'm not going to film this. Too much stress. Bring you back in a second. Okay, pitch number 2. We're up. If there's one thing I can say about the Nortent, it's quick to erect, which is just as well, because that was a mare. An absolute mare. It's still windy down here, but yeah, well within its capabilities now. It's not getting too stressed, and neither am I. Yeah, well, relaxed now. It might be 100 foot lower, but it's certainly a lot less windy. I'm still getting a buffeting, but it's well within the tent's capability now. But I do think that pole needs an upgrade. Right, I've buttoned down the hatches as best I can, and I'm going to head to my dead folks. Everything looks to be secured as best I could. I really wish the crossing pole would probably have made a hell of a difference. It's been a good learning process, and I definitely go for a bigger pole, I think. Just a quick thank you to Manly for supplying the jacket. This wee windproof absolutely packs to nothing. Made out of parachute fabric. And it also has these military Velcro badge attachments. Although I've got no badge to put on them. However, it's actually really a handy little jacket. I can just keep in any corner of my pack. So, maybe a bit of breakfast and then head back to work. It's 7:20, so I've slept not badly on off. Tent survived alright. There was some big gusts even here. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, more of a challenge than I expected. So that's me offski, 25 to 8, should be back at the desk by 9. Wee bit more of an eventful camp than I expected, and a modification needed for the tent, I would say, and I'll feed that back to Nortent. Otherwise you need to use that crossing pole quite early on in terms of wind speeds. So thanks again for watching, everybody. I've got a new tent coming on Friday, so I'm hoping to have another video out on that one fairly shortly, and a test, something very different, and it's come quite a long way, and I don't think there's many of them in the UK, so should be fun. Anyway, I'll see you again soon. Thanks again for watching.